Josephine Baker lived her life wholeheartedly, whether it was on stage, her contributions to the French resistance, or raising her 12 adopted children. Born in America to a poor family, Josephine learned to fend for herself from a young age and soon discovered her love for the performing arts. She danced on street corners and theatres before joining a musical troupe by the time she was 16. 3 years later, she landed in Paris, where she found success in her career and her permanent home, the Château de Miland. The Château de Miland is a 15th century castle that Francois de Caumont built for his wife, Claude de Cadillac, in 1489. The castle was designed in the 15th century Renaissance and Gothic styles. He intended to build a romantic residence for his wife, filled with light and beauty. He added mullioned windows with stained glass and views of the Dordogne Valley. The design was a break from the fortress-like residences that focused heavily on protection rather than aesthetics. The castle remained in the Caumont family until the French Revolution. The next family to own the castle was not so keen on its maintenance, and by the 20th century, the castle was in dire need of repair. French industrialist Charles Augustus Cavalieri bought and restored the castle in the early 20th century. He worked with the architect Henri Lafillier to restore the castle, adding a new east wing and sculptures and restoring the windows of the castle. Claveret also commissioned Jules Vachereau, a renowned landscape architect, to landscape the gardens of the Château de Miland. Claveret had a vision of a French-style garden surrounded by an English-style park. Vachereau delivered, resulting in the beautiful gardens that grace the castle. Claveret died in 1919, leaving the castle to his widow. Despite its long-standing history and association with aristocracy, Josephine Baker is the most notable residence of the castle. She lived in the castle for 30 years, infusing it with her flamboyant personality and building a welcoming space for war refugees, and later her adopted children. Josephine met the owner of the castle on her way back from a one-year tour of the United States in 1936. They met aboard the luxurious Normandy. A while later, she visited the castle and fell in love with it instantly. Josephine initially rented the castle in the 1930s, but her love for it led to her purchase it in 1947 when it went up for sale. The castle, located in Dordogne Valley, in the Périgord-Nord region, has 24 rooms. At the entrance of the property is a wrought iron gate that opens to the courtyard. In the courtyard is a chapel which was built alongside the original castle, with the intention of becoming a tomb. Later, it would become an agricultural house and storage for hay. Claveret restored the chapel in the early 1900s, and it later became the venue for Josephine and Joe Billion's wedding in 1947. It would also serve as a baptism venue for her adopted children of the Catholic faith. The parish was restored yet again, starting in 2016 and was open to the public in 2023. Other features of the castle include the stained glass window, some made from glass tracing back to the 17th century, ivy-covered turrets, gargoyles, Renaissance fireplaces, and a grand circular staircase made from stone. During the war, the castle served as a sanctuary for the Jewish refugees that Josephine helped escape the country. Her castle was also important to the French resistance, as a storage for weapons. Josephine was rarely at the castle, often moving between countries to fundraise for the resistance. She also worked for the resistance as a spy. When the war ended, Josephine was ready to start her family. She put down her savings for the purchase of the castle and began working on it to transform it into her village for the world. She made a shrine, dubbed Jeroma, and filled it with wax figurines inspired by her illustrious life. Some of the figurines are still present at the property, while others were lost after the 1969 sale. She left her mark on the castle, especially in the bathrooms and the bedrooms that she decorated in the popular Art Deco style. She added a J-shaped swimming pool and the experimental farm on the estate. Josephine employed a team of workers to help with various roles in the estate, including caring for her children, tutoring services, including cultural and religious training for each child, and gardeners to maintain the estate. Josephine also wanted to develop a resort, golf club, theatre, and tennis facilities within her 300-acre estate, but the project cost her too much, marking the beginning of her financial difficulties and eventually the loss of her beloved home. By 1954, with a vision of a unified world where all that mattered was one's humanity, Josephine began building what she called the Rainbow Tribe. The Rainbow Tribe consisted of 12 adopted children from diverse cultural, national and religious backgrounds. Josephine, along with her fourth husband, adopted these children as part of their vision of a unified world. As part of her role as their mother, she provided each child with education about their cultures and religions. She also provided them with a warm environment to grow up, receiving the love they would be missing out on. Beyond her castle, Josephine extended her work to the surrounding area, helping the local community establish bus shelters. But her vision was cut short by her generous, sometimes reckless spending. Josephine loved to share her wealth, donating to charities, especially those dealing with children, and other causes that she believed in. She also loved hosting parties, and it is believed that more than 500,000 people graced her events during the time she lived there. However, sustaining her bloated budget put a strain on her finances, resulting in the auction of her estate in 1969. Her friends, including the iconic Princess Grace of Monaco, came to her rescue, helping her find accommodation in Monaco. Josephine went back to her performing career to pay her debts and sustain her family. But as a 60-something woman, the demands on her body were too much, resulting in her death on April 12, 1975, at 68. But the story of her home did not end with her death. Her spirit lived on in her castle, even as it passed hands from one owner to another. In 1986, the French Ministry of Culture designated the castle as a historical monument. Despite this status, the castle was once again deteriorating, until Henry and Claude de Beer bought the estate in 2001. They bought the castle intending to restore its glory to reflect the time Josephine Baker lived in the castle. Today, Château de Miland is a museum dedicated to the life of Josephine Baker. During the restoration, Claude worked to introduce elements that lined with Baker's tastes and illustrious life. The castle today tells the story of Josephine Baker's life, her love for music and singing, her fight for France, and her commitment to racial justice. Currently, the castle displays photographs, costumes, clothing, and recordings of her work. The living area features her iconic costumes, notably the banana skirt, which became a symbol of her sensual dances that took Paris by storm in the 1920s. The skirt, designed through a collaboration between Baker and costume designer of the Folie Bergère, featured fake bananas and a loincloth. Her costume inspired controversy and criticism, some calling out for perpetuating the stereotypes of black people as primitive, while others saw it as an act of resistance and pride for her black roots and culture. The kitchen has remained the same as it was when Josephine lived in the castle with her rainbow family. It still has a large seating area for her rainbow family. Her bedroom is also the same, featuring the canopy bed she slept on and 12 cribs. Inside the bedroom hung photographs of her children and memorabilia collected throughout her life. Her bathrooms still feature an Art Deco style, with black glass Moreno tiles, a green bathtub and sink, silver arch ceilings and gold leaf accents. The library room has been turned into a music hall, complete with her works and journey as a singer and dancer. Her music is often played in the background. Despite a rough start in her life, Josephine never let the light in her heart die, living her life fully and pursuing the dream she had. First, owning a home, and notably, raising her diversified family, a community that she built herself and proved that people can exist in mutual respect and harmony. Today, the castle exists as a homage to her life and contributions. You too can experience the life and work of Josephine Baker by visiting the castle. It usually opens between March and December, offering diverse activities for children, adults, and families. The Château de Miland offers an opportunity to explore history and culture, and for nature lovers, the estate houses a bird sanctuary packed with birds of prey. The common ones you're likely to see are eagles and falcons. Thank you for watching this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our new uploads.